if you're open to it, I recommend giving strong consideration to how often you are annoyed, angry, upset, impatient, irritated, or otherwise made to feel unpleasant by others. We can call this letting others pull your strings or push your buttons, letting others play you, letting others get inside your head or live inside your mind or your heart rent free. And if you can relate to that, you'll very likely benefit from introduction to some techniques I've developed as well as learned from others over the years when it comes to protecting your energy. Now, part of the reason I became a doctor was to be able to speak on these matters with some pre-existing allopathic, Western, conventional authority. I've taken all the tests that say I can be in control of a human life. I can be responsible for the life of another human. And indeed, that is what I make my living on. My daily bread and butter is anesthesiology for heart transplants and lung transplants at a world-renowned institution. Thankfully, this institution is also spiritual and religious in nature. As such, they're very sympathetic to discussions about the metaphysical. That means the things that are layered on top of the physical, essentially like data or patterns. And in the case of neurobiology and neurophenomenology, thoughts, feelings, impulses, emotions, these are all part of the discussion of protecting our energy. Why? Because our energy is flowing throughout our life. We're getting a kind of input from everywhere, input of money, input of impressions, input of food, water, air, input of other people's opinions, inputs of other people's perceptions. And then we're also putting things out. So the things we're taking in, we're taking them in as subjects. And so what you want to do in this program is to become strong as a subject. That means that when things happen to you, you have great capacity to absorb them. How much can you take is a question of how strong you are as a subject. What are you made of is a question of how strong you are as a subject. The opposite or the inverse of that characteristic is how you are as an object. That's also part of protecting your energy because your energy is both coming in and going out. So by protecting it, you're not only preserving it or preventing it from being influenced, you're also stewarding or channeling it as it leaves you and goes to affect the lives of others. That's how you show up in the lives of others. You need to protect that also. By protecting it, I really mean defending it and promoting it. You want to be defending and promoting and enhancing and augmenting and evolving both the things that are happening to you as well as the things that are happening from you to others. The best way to do this is to get over yourself, which means that you treat the things that you do and treat the things that others do as essentially the same. The common trap that we fall into is what's called double standards. And double standards are what happen when we start treating our own actions in a different way than the actions of others. Or we treat the actions of our family in a way that's different from the actions of others. We can technically call this privileging or excluding our own actions or our family actions from others' actions, whether excluding them or privileging them in a good way or excluding and privileging them in a bad way. Oftentimes people are harder on themselves or harder on their family than they are on others or outsiders. That's another example of not getting over yourself. So when you have not yet gotten over yourself, and so you treat yourself differently than you treat other people, that's a major obstacle to what we can call protecting your energy. Because in that case, maybe you'll want to protect others' energy, but not your own. You'll be willing to become a martyr for yourself in order so that other people are not displeased or inconvenienced. I've outlined in a program exactly how to protect your energy. It's a 6-module program with 4 lessons in each module. So it's 24 lessons total. and they're very short. They have to do with how to know if you would benefit from learning what we can call energetic or spiritual self-defense, as well as social self-defense, as well as financial self-defense, as well as mental self-defense, emotional self-defense, moral and indeed physical self-defense. Because we are not just physical. We are physical, emotional, mental, financial, social, and moral. All 6 of those are energetic, and all 6 of those elements of ourselves deserve to be defended and promoted by ourselves. This is called self-promotion in the best sense of the word. It's called status enhancement, also in the best sense of the word. It means that you can actually win or do well in principle without denying others the option or opportunity to do well, and without undermining or sabotaging others. Because in fact, protection of your own energy and protection of the energy of others go hand in hand. When you make enemies, you put a target on your own back. And enemies are extremely expensive to have. They can be profitable to have as well. So it's smart to do this whole thing intelligently, and that's part of what protecting your energy means. Having the right enemies, interacting with them in the right ways. Having the right friends, interacting with them in the right ways. Having the wrong enemies or the wrong friends will decrease the quality of your life, the quality of your wealth, the quality of your social interactions, your morality, and everything. So whether it's a friend or an enemy, you want it to be the right kind. The question isn't, do I have friends? Good. And do I not have enemies? Okay, good. It's, do I have the right friends? Okay, good. Or the wrong friends? Do I have the right enemies or the wrong enemies? And am I interacting with my friends and my enemies in the right ways or in the wrong ways? So we go through all of that in this very important project. We can call it a minimally viable product to help establish exactly how much control people have over us, and whether that's more than we want them to have or less than we want them to have. Most people who come into this work feel like others around them have too much power. Oh, they make me mad. They make me sad. They're a bad influence on me. They're toxic. They're driving me crazy. Whose fault is that? Is it their fault? They're obviously idiots. You expect too much of them. They're not going to change. You, on the other hand, can change because you're resonating with this content. And that is exactly what this content teaches, step by step, in a practical way that can be implemented today to enhance your status probabilistically. Your physical status, your emotional status, your mental status, your financial status, your social status, and your moral status all hang on each other, and they hang on your trajectory. Protecting your trajectory is protecting your energy, making sure that you're minimally bumped down, not chronically bumped down in massive ways to the point where your life needs to be resuscitated. You might need a physical resuscitation, emotional resuscitation, mental resuscitation, financial resuscitation, social resuscitation, or moral resuscitation, or salvation. But if you've gotten to that point, you're already way far behind. That's fine. Wherever you start from, that's where you need to embrace and accept. But the fact of the matter is, the sooner we get started with the work of absorbing this material and acknowledging and internalizing the reality of the need to protect our own energy, because others, one, are busy protecting their own, and secondly, may benefit from taking yours. So all of our life is spent in transaction. We're spending our lives on each other, on projects, on distractions, on the dishes, on the kids, on the cats, on school, on work, on investing. We're spending our lives. And the only question is, how much are we in the driver's seat of where it's being spent, how it's being spent, how we're collecting, if we're loaning our life out and we're getting something and we're getting our life back, given back to us? What's the benefit of that? What are they doing with our life that we couldn't do? All of these things are actually part of a very tight system that I've developed called Clean Stamina. And Heart of Gold is the first in a line of products that deal with taking back control of our lives. And Heart of Gold starts with your reputation. If you want to be known as a good person, you might consider that being known as having a heart of gold. Maybe you've justified having a heart of stone or a heart of ice. That's totally part of the program, and the program acknowledges and takes that into consideration. Or maybe you're angry and you have a heart of fire, or you're getting burned up by your life and you have a heart of paper, or maybe you get shattered very easily and people have to be very careful walking on eggshells around you. You have a heart of eggshells or a heart of glass that damages itself quickly or gets damaged quickly, can't tolerate very much, and then ends up getting upset or hurting the ones that hurt it. So we'll cover all that. We'll map that into the nervous system so you can experience exactly how your neurohormonal state is affected by your social status, and then how your social status is affected by your neurohormonal state. We'll go through all that. I'm excited to introduce this material to anyone who hasn't heard it before and to explore it further with everyone who has. So thank you very much for listening to this brief presentation, and I look forward to seeing you.